you're a digital marketer, you can't really sell SEO. And if you are a home service business, you can't buy SEO.
What do you think about this take on SEO? If you're a home service company, and I'm asking you, Dennis, like,
Sure.
What do you think on this take? If you're a home service company and you do plumbing,
Right.
okay, there's a lot of things that you should be doing yourself as the owner.
Yeah.
Like your team, your company should be taking pictures of projects.
Yeah.
Your team should be taking videos and short form content because you're the people doing it.
They don't realize
your
they need
marketer's
to
not
be
going
doing
to come out and do that.
Right.
And oftentimes your marketer's not even telling you. So
The marketer doesn't even know that.
so there's things that you're going to have to do as an owner and as a company you're going to do.
Yeah.
You're going to get reviews. You're going to get as many as possible. You're going to get 200, 300 plus Google reviews to make your company look more legit.
Yeah.
You're going to shoot more videos. You're going to create content. You're the expert.
Right.
Feed the AI what you know.
Right.
Have it write you some articles.
Yeah.
Right. When you go to an agency or the technician to do the SEO, come to them with 500 Google reviews. Come to them with videos. Come to them with all the other stuff. So that way they can, as the SEO, be the technical brain on where to put the videos, what alt tags to put on the videos, what the text should look like, how the website should flow, like all the other technical stuff versus, just relying, paying them a retainer and hoping for the best.
So there's misaligned expectations. What Marko is saying is that digital marketing company is there to process raw ingredients. So you as a home service business have to give the marketing company the reviews, the videos, the like behind the scenes sorts of things. Like think of us as like chefs, right? You and I, we are chefs, but you as that business on the ground with technicians has to give us the meat and the vegetables and whatever, then we'll cook. We're experts at cooking, but if you give us hot dog meat, I don't think even Gordon Ramsay can turn it to it, right? That's the biggest disconnect.
That's a good analogy right there.
Agencies are trying to sell the idea, you know what? This stuff is so magical. You just pay us $2,500 a month.
You can have 0 Google reviews.
Yeah.
And you'll be on page 1. And that's the biggest BS I've ever heard.
Because digital marketing is an amplifier of your existing reputation. That's why Marko, when he says, look, we want to work with companies that have 2 or 3 or 4 crews and they're established and they do good work and they don't have a lot of redos and this kind of thing. Why? Because if they have an existing business that's already working, that gives us the ingredients we need to be able to cook.
Yeah.
If you just started your concrete coating company and you expect SEO magic, how is that ever possibly going to happen? Because what Google's looking for is proof of real experience, proof of reviews, proof that you just got your logo done by Dan Antonelli or whatever, like that you were with Tommy Mello and you're learning how to do whatever. There's all this real proof that real humans are looking for, and Google is relying upon those exact same signals. So to summarize this whole thing about SEO, it's what ingredients do you bring back so that marketing companies can use these AI tools and VAs and all that kind of stuff to turn those raw ingredients into content that can be seen everywhere. If that's seen everywhere, that sends a signal that Google's looking for. It's literally that simple. But the execution of that requires expectations, which is really hard. Then you have to get the underlying client and the technicians that serve them to get us all these sorts of videos and whatnot. And it requires the agency to do lots of work, which is often tricky because you got to build out the website the right way. The previous website builder did some things wrong that we have to fix, which then requires all this extra work, but the client doesn't appreciate the under the hood work and fixing that has to happen because those fixes don't result in immediate rankings. There's a lot, so imagine you go to a house that was destroyed by a hurricane and now you have to repair the house and someone thinks, well, why are you going to charge me $20,000 to rebuild this house that was completely destroyed? I mean, I can have a maid come over and clean my house for $200.
Yeah.
Yeah, the maid can clean the house for $200, but so many things are already broken here. Plus, not only do we have to rebuild the house and do all of this kind of stuff, then that homeowner's there like inspecting, asking how come my rankings aren't going back up? And then you have to train them, which is more effort than to do the work, which is already a lot of work. And then you have to coordinate the team of all these different people to do these different things. I feel like offering SEO as a benefit is like opening a restaurant today.
Yeah.
Think about how competitive it is to try to open an Italian restaurant when you have freaking Olive Garden and Taco Bell and you're right? Like, how do you compete? It's such a low margin, such a difficult business. So what these guys do, these marketing companies, is they sell high ticket. So they sell these $20,000 packages to give them enough room and enough time. Like this one guy, I won't mention his name.
You can screw up enough.
He says, you know what? I've learned to sell contracts. I will not do month to month anymore because I want to lock them into a 1-year contract.
Why lock them in if it doesn't work?
Because
they should be willing.
We have Zoom calls we've recorded where he keeps saying,
I'm not talking about this, but like in marketing in general.
Yeah.
Why force somebody to pay something?
Because you can't deliver the performance and you want to keep collecting the money. That's
they
why
should
there's not
be
a
there
good reason.
because they want to be there. That's how it should
Well,
be.
that's if you are actually competent like you are. But 95+% of agencies are incompetent. And if you're a marketing agency and you're watching this, there's a high probability you're in that 95% incompetent bucket. I don't care how good you are and how you learned or whatever it is, or how much money you've made or how you copy this other person, 95% chance you're incompetent. And how do you tell? It's not my opinion. Let's audit.
Yeah.
Right? We have a checklist. You can't argue with the checklist. Why? Because if you argue with the checklist, you're arguing against the very standards that Google and Facebook and all these other guys publish. Can you argue against any of those things?
No. It's numbers. They don't lie.
No. It's like taking a math test. You failed a math test. Now you want to like personally attack the math teacher? Like, dude, why would you argue with the principles of algebra? Okay, well, I failed math in high school. Then don't do math.
Yeah.
Then hire these math people. But if you don't know how to do math yourself and other people say they're good at math, and they're like, well, take their word for it, they're good at that. Well, if you don't know how to do math yourself, how can you do?
Yeah, that's right.
That's why this whole SEO thing has been such a scam and an area of confusion for the last 30 plus years. Marko, I built my first website 35 years ago.
Yeah. That's before I was born.
And even today, in 2025, people still have the same misconceptions that they had many years ago.
The aim hasn't changed.
Because of the same issues. The same circus, different clowns.
Yeah.
Only the clowns change, right? All the tools changed. It's the same, the dynamic of ranking. Here's why. If any of this SEO stuff seems confusing because there's all these technical words, if you're doing SEO correctly, there's no difference between SEO, reputation, social media, PR, reviews, all these things that show that you have authority and credibility. SEO is just the sum of all these other reputation factors. That's the best way to think about it. Now, there's technical things where we can argue about what Google's looking at and, do no follow links count and review frequency and how does that play into, competitors that do certain things. But that's all of those things are trying to fool the lie detector as opposed to, like you said, just do a good job. Yeah. If you do a good, here's the other thing that I want you guys to know as home service businesses. The thing that's actually driving you results in organic is not what the agency is doing. It's from your Google My Business profile, which is now called Google.
They're taking credit for that.
Yeah, Google Business Profile. Yeah, they're taking credit for your existing reputation and reviews. The majority of the time that we audit SEO efforts, we see that it's because that underlying contractor is actually doing good work, and Google sees that because of reviews, because of traffic, because Google looks at everything that happens inside Google Maps as a ranking factor. You know that, right? They're looking at that, and that's what's making the phone ring. So when that marketing company is sending you that automated report that comes over every month that has their logo on it, there's lots of tools that do this.
SEMrush is putting the logo.
I mean, there's, agency analytics, and report garden, and all kinds of tools, right? That agency is going to say, ta-da, we drove 13 phone calls for you last month. Okay, where did those phone calls come from? Well, they came from our SEO efforts. Yeah, but 7 of those came from someone searching on your name. And the other ones came from your Google Business Profile, which came from the reviews and reputation you already had. None of them came from someone looking on a non-branded term like Plumber, Richardson, Texas. You didn't rank on that, right? So did the marketing agency demonstrate that they drove incremental phone calls from their efforts? Meaning, what did they do? Well, first off, most marketing companies fail because they can't even show what they did. Like the one I told you that we've audited, 4 of his clients have already come to us. And he was kind of like, oh no, you're out there trying to poach my clients. I've never contacted a single one of them. They all came to me and they all talked to each other, right?
Yeah.
We audit every one of the times we look at this. We audited against our checklist, which you can look at, and it was a complete fail all the way down the line. So A, the results weren't there, which is fine. That takes time. I so badly want to say his name, but anybody could come in and look. Like Google my name and SEO audit, and you'll see hundreds of these. I'll audit your stuff. I don't care whether you do it yourself, you have an agency, you have a young adult who wants to learn how to do this, have them go through our training and learn how to do the audit. Because every week you want to take a look to see A, the results, and then B, what's driving the results in terms of what work was done. This other guy I told you about, he can't even show any work was done. All he can do is say, oh, our team works really hard and we're the best. And I said, really? So you never mess up? No, we're always getting better every time. Yeah, okay. Show me. Do you have a weekly report? Oh yeah, we document everything. Okay. Send me anything you've done for the last 7 months for this client you charged 20 grand on. Show me. Send me the reports. There are none. Oh, but we have the best documentation. Show it to me.
Yeah, pull the curtains back.
Yeah, it's that easy. That man getting the shoe shine. If you're 400 pounds and you step on the scale, you're 5'2" and 400 pounds. Don't keep telling me how you have big bones or your thyroid is malfunctioning. I mean, the facts are the facts, okay?
Yeah, it doesn't lie. The numbers don't lie.
If I eat at the buffet every single day and my midsection gets stronger, I don't think it's because my abs are getting bigger. Let's come on now, right? There's an elephant in this room.
People need to stop lying to themselves, you know? There's no forward momentum until they...
So if you want to learn how to do this stuff, Marko has a free trial. Learn how it's done. We have a ton of co-created content. In fact, there's a video I want you to watch on 5 ways to own your own marketing. And Marko and I go through the exact steps you need to go through to see what's actually going on in my marketing. And I guarantee you, it's going to be an eye-opener. We have done this hundreds of times, rescuing broken situations where people are mad and all this money's been paid. And you can go through these different steps to see, like, do you own the assets? Do you actually see branded versus non-branded? Do you have weekly reports going on? Do you have, is there clear accountability of someone to talk to? Like, all these things that we're looking for. But most of the time, the agency's holding you accountable or holding you hostage. You don't even have access to the ad account. You don't have access to the website. You don't have access to any of these other pieces. You have no idea. You just get some canned report. So this is worth an investment. If marketing is important to you, Marko and I put that video out there on how to own your own marketing. So you should check it out and then let us know. What do you think? We're putting this out here as a service to you guys.